Welcome to the Healing Forum. I have a special guest with me today, Connie Miller, the Queen of Gratitude. Hey, Connie.
Hi, Nene. How are you?
Good. You know, I affectionately sent you a text the other day that said the Queen of Gratitude.
I know. I just love that. Thank you. I'm like, I like that.
You have a new name going into 2022. So just to give you an insight, Connie and I met kind of coincidentally, and we know that there are no coincidences, doing a KBB, the Knowledge Business Blueprint, I think the change was. And we met virtually. I'd never done really anything virtually. I'd never really connected with anyone in that social media framework. But we did a business course together. I mean, there were thousands of people. And somehow someone said, does anyone need help with technology or getting on Zoom? Remember? Right?
Yeah.
And then I don't even remember her name at the moment, but she put a group. So like 100 people kind of virtually raised their hands. And then she put a group together, and Connie and I wound up in the same group with 3 other women. And that was about a year and a half ago, I think. And we've stayed in connection, and we've done some other things together. You were on about gratitude under the red tent where Wise Women Speaks.
Yep.
And so here we are today, and we both realized that today is New Year's Eve, and we're closing out this year, and we're heading into the new year. And, you know, before we started filming, we just said, we both feel really optimistic about what's going on into the new year. And tell us a little bit about yourself, because, you know, you've been doing the daily showing up, which I have to applaud you for. I really admire you for doing that. I mean, showing up when no one was really doing it, and that was at the get-go, and doing 30-day challenges on gratitude. So let's start about that. And then
I actually got into gratitude. I've always felt I've been a grateful person, but I never really practiced gratitude. So so it was about it's almost 2 years now that I started practicing gratitude and then writing into the gratitude journal. And I do have a group, which you're in, Nene, and that's where I'll go live. And I don't do every month, but I'll do like every other month. So January's coming up here, and where I'll go live every day and to teach the practice of gratitude and how it benefits your life. Yeah.
So it's interesting because people speak about gratitude in a very general way, like, oh, be grateful, be grateful, be grateful. But you're doing it as a type of ritual and about setting the stage on a daily basis, which I think brings it to a whole other dimension. You know, I feel that when you do it like that, it really opens up the door to miracles, like miracles happen. And you realize like there are no coincidences, because the gratefulness, I always feel like even the word gratefulness, gratitude, you feel your heart opening, you feel yourself softening, and doing it like methodically, step by step. It's kind of like you wake up in the morning and we brush our teeth, hopefully, but we just get into the habit of that. We go to sleep at night, we wake up in the morning and we brush our teeth. So what do you think about just putting it into that kind of regimented form, which is not a regiment like a hardship, but more that it becomes part and parcel of your day-to-day living?
It becomes part of who you are. You're so right when you said it opens up miracles. It really does. And you know, the funny thing about gratitude is most people think, oh, I'm grateful. I always say thank you and please and acknowledge, but most people just do it because that's what we were taught when we were younger. Always say thank you, but there's a difference in what you said, to open up to miracles and to put it into a daily practice of life, is when you actually, not only do you just say it, but you feel it down into your heart.
Right.
And that is the highest, gratitude is like the highest, healthiest and highest emotion that you can have to open up, to receive more. And most people don't realize that because you're just living your life day to day. So you have to, like you just said, you have to put it into your daily practice. And how I first begun doing it really was, I got turned on to, if you don't mind me saying, which is my beginning was this book right here is where I begun with it. And that's what took me down that path. So anyway, because I didn't realize I was living into because of a state of negativity, because you cannot be in a positive state and a negative state at the same time. And as you know, gratitude is a positive state. So you have to be able to consciously get into the moment and aware of that, of your thoughts. So because where focus goes, energy flows.
Energy flows. I love
So
that.
if you stay in a state of gratitude, life is a mirror. So what you put out is going to come back to you.
Right.
So
Yeah.
why not do it the easiest and most loving and joyful way, which is through gratitude? So how I bring gratitude into my life is you can do it writing into a journal, 3 things that you're grateful for. And it could be any kind of journal, whatever you want to do. You can make it pretty, or you could just do a plain book, whatever works for you. I do every morning. I write 3 things that I'm grateful for. Every morning I do it. And then every night before bedtime, I've changed my rocks. So I'm going to show you many different ones. I have different kinds of crystals.
Oh, I love that.
You call them rocks, whatever you like. I have multis of them. Okay. I love my crystals. You can do any one of them. And here's a really tiny one. And they're not all of them's heart shaped. Like these 2 are heart shapes. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It sits by my bedside. So that reminds me before I go to bed each night, because we all live in a busy lifestyle. Everything's coming at us, and there's good, there's bad, there's marketing. I mean, it's everything just coming at you and just your daily living. So I'll take the time out before I go to bed at night. The rock reminds me to do that. I'll pick it up, and there's one thing throughout the day that I will give gratitude for. It's counting your blessings is what it is that I'm thankful for that day. And then my gratitude journal, Nanny, and you know this, that you can not only write what you're grateful for in that present moment, or throughout your day, or through your past. I don't live a lot in my past. I live in try the moment, or I will go toward the future. I'll go through my past when I'm looking for, there's childhood things, and there's all different things that, I always look for things to be grateful for in my past, not head down that dark path, because then that takes you down that negative side again. So you can write things that you don't even have in your life yet that you're grateful for. Those are
exactly. Yeah. You start envisioning. Well, it's interesting because I just did a dream. This woman, Carol Yakabuchi, so she does dream work, and we were talking about the idea that you can actually forecast your future with the present by dreaming or envisioning your intention and your feeling mode and your hopes and desires today at this 1 minute, and that kind of brings you into the future moment. It brings the future into the present now. So you can start to activate all that. And the other thing that I like is that, you were speaking about, and there's so much social media, bombarded with so much negativity in the world. I feel like sometimes Chicken Little, like the sky is falling. And what are we supposed to do? So rather than be, like taking all of that into us and getting overwhelmed, when you start things like journaling or your intention, you start to then dictate your life today. And so it becomes your life. You're not living someone else's life. You're not living in the past of your former life or your child life. I mean, you want to be childlike, I always think, in the present. But the idea is now you start to determine your life as you see it, as you want it, as you feel it, as you get excited about it, rather than turning on the news and hearing the sky is falling and the earth is shattered. So I always think that puts everybody, especially with this pandemic, I mean, it puts us all in that state of terror. So we're being terrorized.
We're in fear mode all the time.
All the time. And so energetically, you start to pick that up. And I would say as a doctor, as a healer, that affects your health. It affects, the message you're giving to your cells on that cellular level, your white blood cells, your red blood cells, I mean, your neurological cells. I mean, all of that you can heal by just getting your energy pattern set in a good vibration and an easy vibration in what we call the coherent pattern of vibration. So the crystals, I don't know if you've ever been to Sedona, Arizona, but
no, it's on my bucket list. Oh, sorry.
It's so incredible. And it's considered like an energy vortex.
Yeah.
And they actually have, areas where there's female energy and male energy and just the magnetic, and some of them are combined together. But it is the town of crystals. And I always think it's all part of us. I mean, we're not separate. from
Exactly.
the universe. The vibration affects us, but now we're actually starting to bring a different level of vibration. And I think that's where we're all at. Those of us that are, doing lives of service and doing lives of helping other people heal their inner child, their inner wounds.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why we've bonded together also.
I
That's
agree.
that's our purpose together. And,
Yes.
to spread the word and spread that message to people. Yeah. So, one of the things that we were discussing with the dream work was that the gratefulness, but also the idea of what are you, 3 things you're grateful for every day, and then 3 things that you're proud of.
Oh, I like that.
And when I heard that, I thought, oh, we usually don't do that. We're grateful usually for something outside ourselves. We're grateful for our food and our home and our children and our, significant others, our spouses and our family friends. But when we say we're proud of, I think, oh, that kind of goes to what am I proud of with me? Like, what have I done? What have I achieved? And, it brings it down to, because that you also bask in that sunshine of that too. So the 2 words like gratitude, gratefulness, and being proud of something, you almost feel like you're kind of fluttering your wings a little bit. Yeah.
I like that. I really like that. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what I just started doing recently, because I just would I didn't read it. It's audio. Is I don't know if you did it yet. It is Mel Robbins, the high five habit.
Right. Yeah.
Love that.
I love that. Yeah. I love that simple, sweet, to the point. Yeah.
Yeah, just high five yourself. It feels
High
good.
five. Right?
Feels
Look in the
good.
mirror and go, you go, girl. You go, girl.
Yeah, it feels good. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
So I like the, being proud of yourself. That's
Yeah.
I really like that. Yeah.
Well, one of my secrets is I like to do in the shower. And the West Side Story, I feel pretty, oh so pretty. And
Yeah.
so I'll sing that, in a funny way, but then I'll bring it to like my immune system is working great and I'm feeling good. And I'm so, my life is effortless. And so, you put your own words to it. And when you're singing, you're in that lilting, and it's all about the feeling phase.
You're raising that vibration. And that
Yeah.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. So how do you find within yourself the fortitude, the strength to challenge yourself to go live every day for 30 days? It seems like a feat. I've never done it in my life. And you've done it a number of times. So, and it's just showing up in the world.
It's not easy. It's really not easy, because there's been times that I just didn't feel like it.
Right.
Just didn't feel like it. So I would I always do it here in my home office, because I work from my home. I just get here in my office and I will just get into my space, and I'll actually have to get into the state of gratitude and my why.
The why, the big why.
Even if there's nobody else on that other end.
Right.
I will show up, because not only am I doing it for hopefully someone else, but for myself.
Exactly.
And when you can change that, you're not doing it for someone else, you're doing it for you to better your own life. That's where it changes. That's where your mind shift changes.
Right. Yeah.
It really is.
Your commitment to yourself really shows up.
Yes.
Not how many people are in the audience or how many people are watching or how many people will applaud you. It's you applauding yourself for showing up. And so sometimes it's really, the commitment when you don't want to do it, the commitment of showing up when you're saying, I'm tired, I don't feel good, I have a cold.
Or it's been a long day, or I don't know what I'm going to talk about.
Right.
So I'm going to talk about gratitude, but I don't know a story behind it or a way to do it. And I am a firm believer that there's every time before I go live, though, I will get into that state of the moment, even when you don't feel like it. And I just surrender, and whatever I'm doing this because I'm doing it for myself. I'm showing up every day, and it's please just come through me so I can, whoever needs to hear what I have to say. There's no study. Sometimes I just go live and it just kind of comes to you. But I'll tell you, Connie, I really live in a state of gratitude most of the time. And I had to train myself to do this.
Right.
Because I used to be kind of a jealous and a bitter person at times in my life, where I would look at people and it's like, I'm never going to have that, or I'm jealous because they got to go to Florida and I'm sitting here and it's cold, or whatever. So I've taken different things like that and how to switch that mindset here. This is off the gratitude, but this is like if I'm jealous of something, to dissect it. Why am I jealous of that? Because is there something that person has that I want? That has to be it, because they're not doing anything wrong. They're just living their life and they're all happy, laying on the beach, drinking their margarita or whatever.
Right. Right.
So.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's an interesting case because people just assume sometimes, especially with the era of social media, that everyone shows up happy and they're born that way. And the truth is that we've all struggled to get to where we are on some way or another.
Yeah.
And, I used to be somewhat of a type A, where everything had to be perfect and I had to show up and I had to work hard and do this and do that. And I forced things to happen sometimes in business where I thought, wow, after 25 years in business, and now I'm in business 37 years.
Oh, wow.
I finally said,
high five to you.
High five me. Right? At the ripe old age of 101, here I am. I'm here to tell the story of how I got here. But, at some point I said, Nene, I want to continue doing the work. I just don't want to struggle as much. And I don't want to force things as much. I want to go into things with more ease and really trust the universe and trust the natural flow of things. Like the right people will come to me. I'll make the right decisions when I'm in a state of peacefulness. And it's not that I wasn't peaceful, and I've meditated since I was in my mid-20s or so. So I was still doing that work, but I still didn't trust enough. I felt I had to push and push and push to make things happen. And I did push in great directions, thank goodness. But the things, any quote unquote mistakes that I felt I made was because I had an intuitive hit and I didn't follow my intuition. Yeah. Because I allowed other people to tell me, or they said, and that's not the right thing to do. There was a rational reason for certain things. And they were like, no, push in this direction. You should push in that direction because that's the right thing to do. It's the rational business thing to do. But when I look back and reflect, and again, life happens the way it happens. I can only learn from my lessons. I think, where did I miss some of my path? And interesting, if I had chosen that path was what intuitively I felt was the right thing for me. But because I was listening to everyone else's chatter and felt like, okay, I will follow and push and push and push. But the greatest things that ever came to me, I never pushed for. They just showed up miraculously in my life. And then it was my choice.
When did you learn that, though? When did you learn that, though? Was it later in life or was it early?
Yeah, I mean, I'd already had an office in Manhattan, and I wanted to go in a different direction. So it was probably, maybe 15 years into my work, I would say. And then I finally said, I want to do things for this stage of my life now. I said, whatever I do, I want to do it, in service, because, as a doctor, as a healer, I want to continue to work.
How can I serve others?
How can I serve? So that's always been my motive and my motivation, and feeling like that was my path in life to do that. However, I want to work with people that I love. I want it to be with joy and laughter. I want to have fun. I want to be able to support my family. So if it had to have those parameters, and if it didn't, I said, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to force anything. I don't want to make anything happen. I just want it to come in that joyful state. And in that, I want to say effortless. And so effortless doesn't mean that you're not working towards it.
Right.
But I think also going back to gratitude, being grateful for the people around you, being grateful for people that show up. Like, we look back to how you showed up in my life, and then when we were grateful for each other and we connected and we continue the conversation about that. So in different ways, not always talking about gratitude, but But
Right.
it's interesting how people show up in your life, and then you appreciate that, and you have gratitude for people, and then you sense their energy and the vibration, and that propels you forward. I mean, we've had a relationship now for almost 2 years. We haven't really
No,
had to work at it at all.
no, no. And
So
we
it's
just kind of come back and connect at the right time, don't
the right
we?
time. Yeah.
We go and do our thing and then just boom.
And we come back. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's interesting. So it shows up in so many different ways, like the miracles of life show up. And I think as you continue to be in a state of gratefulness and gratitude, and it's true, it's not that you're never going to get angry again, or you're never going to make a wrong decision, or get, teed off at somebody. But, and it's same thing with eating. I tell people, if you can follow a program, like a healthy program for you, like 85% of the time, that's a win. That's something to be proud of. That's something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
We're not here to be perfect. We're here to have, our perfect imperfection. So letting go of a lot of those self-limiting beliefs, I would say. And it's a journey. There's not an end stage. It's a journey, for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you though, practicing gratitude daily in my life though, throughout the entire day, has literally changed my life, Nene, and that happened a couple of years ago. Because I was one of those people that I could get into a negative state and stay there all day long, or get mad at, like, well, lose my husband, for example. And it could last for a couple days. This was years ago though, for a couple days.
Right.
Really, that's that, when you try to find the good in everything, or the blessing in everything, and that's all is a form of gratitude. Okay. Your life will start shifting. The universe, God, they will shift and put people in your life that will take you to that next level you need.
Yeah.
Or things, people, places, or things to get you to that next step. And really, there's other ways you can change your life too. But I found for me that gratitude was one that just keeps stacking me, it just keeps stacking up for me. And now I notice it everywhere. I find blessings everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it used to, instead of someone pulling out in front of you, instead of, getting all mad about it, and maybe back in my day, I'd flip them off and cuss them out.
Right. I can't imagine it, Connie, but
nowadays it's like, God, I hope everything's okay with that person, or maybe they're in a hurry. Maybe they're trying to get to the hospital, or maybe they're having a bad day. It has nothing to do with me. Or go to a drive-through and somebody gets really, kind of pissy with you. I'm not taking your negative stuff on. I mean, that's on you.
That's on you. Yeah.
Because I've learned how to see the good, and it's kind of, it all falls into gratitude. It is magical. It truly is.
Yeah. The gratefulness for the miracle of life that we're here.
Yeah.
And it's also setting the intention. I mean, years ago, I started this intention, and I've done it with my children whenever we travel or in the car. I'll say everywhere.
By the way.
You what?
Beautiful children you have.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
They look a lot like their mama.
They're beautiful spirits. They're beautiful spirits. But I'd say everywhere we go, we travel safely, quickly, easily, effortlessly, gracefully, and we arrive in perfect time. So, and they will say it now, and I will say it. And I think, it puts me in that state of we're traveling, and we've set that intention. And same thing, when somebody cuts me off, when my kids were younger, they're like, Mom, that guy just cut you off. How come you're not yelling and screaming at him? It's like, because I don't want to take in that energy. I mean, because wherever we go, we travel safely, quickly, easily, gracefully.
I like that.
I don't need to do that. And, years ago, I had some patients that told me some stories that they were in traffic and rushing and, were actually going to miss a plane because of the traffic.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've heard stories like this, and I've heard stories like this, but to actually hear that person telling the story, how they were kind of going through road rage and pushing to get someplace, pushing, that they missed the plane, but there was a plane crash at the other side of that. And so you think, oh, Lord. So I've heard stories like that. I will never push and force a situation anymore. I mean, I've been in Manhattan where trying to get on a subway to take a, Long Island Railroad, and the doors shut right in front of me. And I thought, rushing to get there.
Really?
And I would say, you know what? I'm changing my plans.
Yeah.
That I'm taking that as a sign. I'm pushing too hard to make this. And the universe just said, don't struggle, Nene. Forget it.
Yep.
I've had patients during 9/11 that, I was actually on Long Island heading to go into Manhattan that morning. And I called about 10 patients the next day to see if everyone was okay. And every one of them said there was a reason that they did not get there. One patient said, in 10 years, I've never taken a bus to get to work. And she would have been right under the trade towers. She said, that morning, I would have been in the subway. That morning, I decided to take a bus.
Oh, see, I have chills, goosebumps going down my body right now.
Yeah, just amazing. And one patient had a daughter who was in a daycare center there. And that morning, she had a doctor's appointment, and the doctor was running late. And so they were not there. So many different stories. I think, you know what? No more rushing, no more pushing. Just be in the ease of life and the flow of life. And, people will say to me, oh, Nene, you're 5 minutes late. It's like, no, I'm never late. Remember my motto? Remember my affirmation? I am never late. I will never stress about time again. I mean, time is an illusion. Not that I'm, I can be fashionably late, but maybe I just wasn't meant to be there. So
I'm the same way. Yeah. Anymore. Yeah.
So I think it all, we call it all, but it is about being grateful for being in the moment, being grateful for being alive. And so very many of us take it for granted. And we know this year, I mean, so many people have lost their lives, and you just never know when your time is up. So stay in the moment, stay present, and, appreciate each moment, appreciate each second that we're here, that the breath of life. I mean, I just did something about the end of the year. I don't know if you've heard of it, the burning bowl ceremony.
No, what is it?
I learned it in Unity Church maybe over 20 years ago. And it's a way, because, we're filling our lives with things that we want and good intentions and feelings and gratitude. Sometimes, though, we need to let go of things that no longer serve us. So the burning bowl ceremony.
And be grateful to let go.
To be grateful to let go. I mean, what doesn't serve you anymore? Like, just, not feeling guilty, just feeling what's necessary for me, for my growth and my awareness and this point in my life. And so you almost need to create a vacuum sometimes so that you can fill up your vessel, but you need to let go of things like old patterns and old limiting beliefs. And sometimes people need to be let go. And,
that's hard.
I mean, all that, some of
Yeah. You love them, but you got to
love them, but sometimes you need to protect yourself in those ways. But the idea is that they actually did this in church, where they had a huge, like, copper urn, and they gave everyone rice paper. So you'd write down, you're not writing a book, but you're writing down, highlighting. And it was just a small pace
like a little sentence or something. Yeah.
Yeah. A sentence of, what you need to let go of. And then one by one, people came up and they had a candle. And so you put it in, and the thinner the paper, like a rice paper, it just goes up like that. And so it's symbolic of just really, you release it, let it go. It goes into what, I'd say like the black hole,
it's kind of
the universe, and it goes, gets sucked up and it's gone, completely gone.
I love that.
And so when you do it at home, you can just take an urn of some, don't use a wooden bowl, use something like that. Don't use plastic, and then put a little tea candle, and then, on small pieces of paper. I mean, you can use multiple pieces of paper, but, write down some things. And the journaling is really good. So you can take time to do it, or just do it in a flash. And then New Year's Eve or New Year's Day morning, throw it in and let it go.
I love that.
And then what they would do is the next week, they would have these little tablets, like, almost like porcelain tablets, ceramic tablets. And you'd write like 3 or 4 words that will embody the year to come.
Very cool.
So you could say gratefulness, energy, good health, I mean, all of that. So it's a ritual that I've done, every year going forward. So I actually did a YouTube video on that, the burning bowl ceremony. Yeah, just little things like that. I mean, putting into your life
Yep.
things that will keep you centered. And I think that's it. We need to stay focused and
Or
centered.
bring you back to yourself, because we just get lost in everything of
Everything
life.
else. And so easy. There's so much chatter.
People don't know how to get back, to them.
Yeah.
And that's where they call it, they're always struggling.
The struggle. Yeah.
There's a, yeah.
Yeah. And so, really staying in the moment, there is no struggle. I mean, you just let
Wow.
things go. It's like in the moment, there's peace, there's serenity, the mindfulness. It's like, take the moment, be with yourself. Just be with yourself. Don't worry about the world at
Most
large.
people, it's hard for people to be with themselves. And that's where meditation really has, or in a bathtub, taking a nice hot bath or warm bath, whatever you like to take. Most people don't take time out to be with themselves, yeah.
So I think our time's almost up, but we're starting the new year, New Year's Eve now. Connie and I will be doing some workshops together. So we've got some things on the horizon for 2022. Thanks so much. And tune in to nenechung.com, at Nene Chung on Instagram, and my YouTube channel, Dr. Nene Chung. Thank you so much.